Welcome back. Danganronpa. Let's see. Trigger Happy Havoc. So far so good. Love this. We're gonna see. Now we have 2 victims, but 1 murderer. Who will it be? That's gonna be an interesting gameplay. So let's get going. Let's see. Hufumi's big cold body is laying on the floor. But how did the killer manage to move it? From the nurse's office where he was discovered to here, the receptory, all the way from 1st floor to 3rd, all without anyone noticing. I just can't imagine how it was done. Further, Umumi died from a blow to the head. Have to assume it came from Justice Hammer 3, we found in the nurse's office. And when we found his body in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. But now they're spotless. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses clean? But who would do that and why? I look at this, Taka, he'll never move again. According to the Monokuma file, Taka died from a blow to the head. Found Justice Hammer 4 near his body. The equipment room, is that what was used to kill him? And then there's a tarp laid out under his body. Did the killer use this to move Taka's body? That way, there wouldn't be any blood left behind while the body was moved. Let's see. Oh yeah, right. So, see, what else could I? Oh, there's the TV monitor. She's It was really scared, so me and Sakura stuck together. Came right to the receptory to, look around. But when we got here, the receptory was locked. We couldn't get inside, and we came here soon. This search started, so there's no way someone could beat us here. So if that's true, then who locked it, and why is it unlocked now? They're the same thing. The door was locked when the search bodies began, but now it's wide open. There must be some hidden clue in there somewhere. Oh yeah. They're all dusty, that's right. There's definitely a lock on the door, but it can only be locked from inside the receptory. See any way to lock it from in the art room? Door can only be locked from inside the reservatory. Makes me wonder. Hina and Sakura confirmed that the door was locked. We started looking for the missing bodies. The door is designed so that it can only be locked from inside the reservatory. In other words, when Hina checked it, someone already gone in the reservatory and locked the door. When they were done, they unlocked it and left, which is why it's unlocked now. But Hina claims someone could have beaten them to the reservatory, so that's searching someone. Receptory door has been added to the truth bullets of your hand. There's gotta be a clue around somewhere. Maybe I should check elsewhere. There are some places I already know about. There's the nurse's office where who moved me is found, and the equipment room where Taka was found. Okay. Yes. Locker. So let's go to the nurse's office. Now, where am I trying to go to? And then there's the equipment room. Equipment room is where was the equipment room? Was it on this floor? Well, let's look at the nurses. See if there's any more. What is this? Justice Hammer 3, the one that was used to kill Hoshi. Someone moved the body but left the weapon behind. Let's see. What are you investigating, Celeste? Not investigating anything, precisely speaking. I'm simply going around seeing if Hero might be hiding somewhere. What about you? Oh, you know, I'm just checking this and that. The main thing on my mind is how someone could have moved Hoo-Hoo.
Let's see.
How Hoo-Hoo was moved, huh? When it disappeared, you were supposed to be in the nurse's office, right?
Yes, indeed.
Correct. Hina was not feeling well, so I was trying to look after her. But she seemed to be getting worse, so I took her to the bathroom. And when you got back, the body was gone? We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. Yeah, Hina said the same thing. So then the killer was able to get in and move me, his body, in that short amount of time.
Indeed.
Seems so. Carry off someone as big as Hoo-Hoo-Me. Only a couple of minutes is... Can't think of it as anything less than impossible. Celeste's account has been added to the truth bullets. Now, let me see what my truth bullets are. Let's see. Oh yeah. Let's see. That's interesting. So how do you move a body like that? Just a normal... Huh? Wait, there's something inside. It's too small to be a handkerchief. It's a glasses cleaning cloth. It's kind of like some kind of cartoon. Ah, but it's also covered in blood.
Oh!
Oh, did you find something? Yeah, there was a cleaning cloth in it.
Huh?
Cleaning cloth. And it's all bloody. Whoever this belonged to must have used it to wipe up some blood. But who would need to do something like that? I haven't the slightest idea. Yeah, me neither. I think it might be important. Let's look at this again. No. Oh, what is this? A refrigerator. I wonder if there's anything to drink. Bunch of blood packets in here for blood transfusions, I guess. Doesn't help me though. I'm not a vampire. Where was that equipment room? I thought it was upstairs somewhere. Oh. Meant for the boys. Nothing to click on. No. Let's go upstairs again and see where we're going. Let's see. Oh, okay, so that is on the third floor. Alright. Let's see. Silly. And I don't know anything. Justice Hammer 4, the weapon that was used to kill Taka. The body was moved, but the murdered weapon was just left there. There's some kind of tire mark going through the pool of blood in the middle of the room. That reminds me about the dolly in the respiratory. There was blood on its tire. Could that blood have come from here? Which could mean that Taka's body was moved from the equipment room to the reservatory. Seeing the dolly, both rooms are on the third floor. So that should definitely have been possible. Equipment room, blood... Even if the dolly was used to move Taka's body, about Ufumi's body is in the nurse's office on the first floor. Even with the dolly, there's no way to get up to the third floor. It's still a total mystery. I was sleeping right here when the killer carried the body over.
What?
I'm super mad I missed such an ultimately rare event. Oh wait, what is this? Huh, this card. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before and just suddenly too. Sure, let's leave for now. So this is where you were. I've been looking for you. I have. To thank you for what you did. Not that you meant to, but you ended up making this little game of ours very interesting indeed. You should go to Hero's room. Oh, and let me give you this. Meet in the dining hall. This is the note Hero wrote to get us all to meet up, right? You remember well. Well, the penmanship was pretty remarkable, so I left an impression.
It's all clear now.
Anyway, this makes it clear, right? This is a trap. What is? Things grow ever more exciting. What are you talking about? I've already repaid my debt. I don't owe you any more.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yoshiyaro's message has been added. So he said go to Hero's room. What's waiting for me there? Okay, let me see. Yeah, clear, huh? Oops. That's not what I wanted. I wonder what's gonna be meeting me over there, huh? Ryoko, Mondo, Akuyaya, Sakaya, Junko, Toko, Celeste, Shiro, Ayo, Sakura, Leon, Yoshiyara. Am I going this, guys? Now he's Yoshiyara. Store is unlocked. I guess I can go inside. Theo did say go look. It might not be a great idea, but I'm going to take the plunge. This is Hero's room. There's all kind of weird stuff. Where did he even get it all from? More importantly, he still hasn't turned up. Which means he can't really complain if I don't get his permission to search his room, right? Let's see. What can I click? It's a normal bed, pretty much like the one in my room. Alright. Cardboard. I think there's something in the cardboard box. It's blueprints for something, and something's made out of, looks like cardboard, plastic, and plaster. Is this Robo Justice? And it's in Hero's room? Oh wait. These blueprints. Something about them bothers me. Robo Justice. Have the arms been like this? Has been added to the Truth Bullet section. Let's only check the bathroom. There's nothing in here. It's pretty conjuring. How does a bathroom even get this dirty? Alright. Let's look at the truth bullets again. Makoto, big news, big news. What's up? We found Koyoko. What? Is she okay? Where is she? Wait, I wasn't done. There's more.
Just a second.
Robo Justice showed up too. Robo Justice. It's Hero. Wearing the costume.
Okay.
Anyway, as soon as you can, head to the pool. Second floor. You think Hero and Koyoko run up at the same time. Anyway, I have to head. Ran off to the second floor as fast as I could. And there's nothing here. No. At least not what I'm... Koyoko and...
I mean...
Phew, man. I have had the worst day. Hero. I'm positive that is the suspicious individual that attacked me. Apparently that ridiculous object is Hero. I would ask Koyoko for details if I were you. Robo Justice finally made his appearance, huh? Guess Koyoko's the one who found him.
Huh? Oh, hey, Makoto!
Yeah, who else would I be? That's a good question. Why do I look like this? What? Did someone come along and remodel me? I was sleeping? Was it the Illuminati?
Right.
I found Hero. He was jammed into the pool room locker. It looked like he was fast asleep, so I kicked him and woke him.
Don't be mean!
I still can't believe you kicked me. You could have been a little more gentle about it. Like, I don't know, caress my face or something.
What?
That's creepy. Anyway, Koyoko, where have you been all this time? You just disappeared all of a sudden without a trace.
Loud.
There was something I had to check up on. What do you mean? Never mind. I can't. Never mind.
It's nothing.
Never mind.
Hey.
More importantly, she says that, but does she have any idea? Does she know people think she might be spying for the mastermind? First of all, Hero, you need to explain to us the dress like.
I mean...
I have no idea. 1 second I was asleep. Don't even know how that happened. And I woke up and then I was here. I don't care. Do something about that costume. Pains me just to look at you.
Huh?
Well...
Let me out of here!
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help. Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself?
You got it all wrong!
I didn't make this stupid thing.
It would seem...
There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks very sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. You don't really have a choice. Let's help it. Took everyone's help, but slowly we were able to get Hero out of the slip. Took a few minutes, but eventually we got all the pieces off. Phew, free at last. Isn't it kind of weird how perfectly suit fits Hero?
So then...
More to the point, nobody but Hero would be able to wear that costume. Wait, what? Hold on a second.
Honestly.
Don't bother trying to act innocent. The blueprints were in your room as well.
Is that okay?
In other words, it's obvious to everyone that you made this costume. That's true. I saw the blueprints myself. Yeah, me too.
Could it be...
And it's obvious, the one who put this costume on and went around attacking
That's
everyone
terrible!
was Hero. Shall we tie him up and gag him?
Just the worst.
Good idea. We wouldn't want him killing anyone else.
What?
Tie me up? Hold on, guys. I think that's going a little far.
That's right.
He may be a suspect, but he deserves fair treatment. Yeah, I mean... Attacking blueprints? No idea what you guys are talking about.
What the heck?
You can't talk your way out of this. It's been decided. You killed me.
Please!
Killed who? I have no idea what you're talking about. There must be a fake heroes running around.
What are you saying?
You're the only one who can wear this costume. So who else could possibly be the costume attacker?
What the heck?
Maybe you should try it on for yourself before you convict me.
Okay.
Fine. If you're gonna be a jerk about it, I will. The missing a bingo justice costume.
Huh. See? Look. I mean, come on. I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way, now we know for sure, right? I mean, it seems pretty clear that nobody but Hero could have fit into this dumb costume.
In a huff, Nina took the suit back off again. Well, now you're all out of excuses. No, see, it's 'cause you're a girl. If it was another guy, then... Makoto, go ahead. Okay. Against my will, I picked up the pieces off the floor and tried putting them on. It's no good. The arms are too long. There's no way I can wear them.
Just a second!
See, I told you it was impossible. You're absolutely right. It seems this costume was made to fit Hero's body exactly.
But...
Then there's another costume. You must have one that looks the same, but fits him.
Honestly.
If you insist on this line of defense, then show us some evidence.
what the heck?
Evidence? Claim there's another suit, yes? Then you must find it and show it to us. What the heck?
Just the worst.
Who cares? Here is the only one without an alibi during this whole thing anyway.
That's terrible!
Which is how we know it was him.
What?
I mean, is it that truly true? I have no idea what's been happening. Did someone tell me? Robo Justice costume has been added to the truth bullets. Nice. Let's talk to them.
Oh!
Expect Hiro and Koyoko to turn up. But then where has Koyoko been hiding all this?
Then
no idea. Perhaps she really is working for the Mastermind. What else would explain her questionable behavior? But you are quite protective of her, yes? That's because she helped me out so much up until now. If I were the Mastermind, that is exactly what I would do to earn your trust. It's looking more and more like it really was a setup. She looks like she's lost in thought. Don't think she's in the mood to talk. I better leave her alone.
What the heck?
There's no talking your way out of this one. You did it. Everyone knows it.
What the heck?
If you don't tell me what's going on, how am I supposed to understand? Think I figured out that someone's been killed, right? Hey, Makoto, who was it? Well, two people were killed. Taka and who? What? Two people?
Just the worst.
Why are you freaking out? You did it.
Please!
I did not. Wait. Hold on. Those two are the ones that were killed.
How about that?
That's it. I know who did it.
So then...
Well, might as well tell us then. Taka and Hufumi were fighting over Alter Ego, right?
I'm at least 30% right!
Which means Alter Ego and Orchiro must have done it.
Correct.
I see. That's unfortunate.
Please!
Huh? Unfortunate?
What the heck?
Stop trying to trick us. Just admit that you did it, okay? I'm telling you, you got it all wrong.
Oh, so then.
Oh, I know. That note. Last night, someone slipped a weird note under my door. And here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else. For now, let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. But the last thing I remember is going to the rec room. Then for some reason I fell asleep.
Hey!
Real killer probably drugged me or something.
Just the worst.
Not a chance.
So...
No, hold on. You could be onto something. The nurse's office did have chemicals that could do that. What? Really? Told you, someone's trying to set me up. Secret passage, a chance to escape. Someone wrote all that to trick me. Even if that's true, you must be one dumb fish to bite every piece of bait that floats in front of you. Well, after being trapped here so long, even if you know it's a lie, you still gotta check, right? God, they pried on my desire to get out of here. They deceive me. I still don't buy it.
Don't be mean!
Well, you should buy
Just a
it.
second.
Okay, then show us then. With pleasure. I have it right here in my pocket.
No way!
Looks like I lost it. Yeah, sure.
Please!
Please, you gotta believe me. I wouldn't hurt a fly. As I said before, if you want us to believe you, you must produce evidence. Can you show us the note? I have no particular issue with what you claim, but if you want to believe you, give us a reason. What the heck? We're serious? Yoshiharu's account has been added to the truth. Bullets. Now then, shall we resume our investigations? There's no time to waste before the class trial begins. Why do we need to keep investigating? We already know who did it.
What the heck?
Why did you kill them? Tell us, Hiro. No, it's like I said.
Just the worst.
Does it really get the money Monokuma offered us? Yeah, that must be it. Must be totally broke, and that's why. Wait, that's a false excuse. Shouldn't someone help me?
What are you saying?
Just be thankful we haven't found and ganked. You have time to yell and carry on. You have time to search for your evidence, right?
What?
Ah, you're right. I need to look for the second suit in that note. Pete, don't fail me now. Guess I better get back to guard duty. He's gonna ask Toko or Genocide Jack to switch with me. But if she and Sakura got into a fight, we have a catastrophe on our hands. Well, bye. One by one, everyone killed
Makoto.
Makoto, do you have a second? Why don't you help me with the
It would
investigation?
seem...
It looks like I got a late start on this one, so need to make up some ground. Sure, I don't mind helping, but can you promise me something? Later, when we have time, will you tell me why you disappeared?
Why is that?
No. To reject me so simple.
Anyway,
Anyway, I need your help. You don't mind, do you? Oh, okay.
shall we go?
Thanks. Now then, shall we?
Hey,
So, Makoto, first I like to examine the corpses. Examine the corpses? I can't believe I'm hearing that from the girl the same age as me.
correct.
Dead bodies don't lie, you know. They tell the truth far more easily than the living.
Hey,
Wouldn't you agree? How am I supposed to answer?
anyway,
Anyway, we have to hurry before the class trial begins again. Yeah, you're right. Okay, then show me where the bodies are. They're in the respiratory. And I guess we should head that way for now. Alright, let's go to the respiratory. That's on the 3rd floor. Or, yeah, it is. It's right here. I confuse myself sometimes. Uhupmi and Taka. For a moment, Koyoko seemed to go rigid. But only for a moment.
so then,
Well then, let's get started. She crouched down next to Taka without hesitation. Began poking and prodding the body.
I knew it.
The Monokuma file was right. They were killed using similar weapons. The movements were so smooth. She was so calm. Seeing how comfortable she was actually made me feel a little more comfortable. So let's... Okay. Right, but let's see what she has to say.
I see.
Makoto, I found something. You did?
Hey,
You remember the wristwatch Taka always wore on his left hand? You did?
whew.
Are you so oblivious to the people around you? Do you dislike other people that much? No, that's not it. Anyway, so you said he had a watch.
So then,
Take a look. It's broken. You can see the hands are moving, right? So what happened at 5 o'clock? It's most likely broke when he had his encounter with his assailant. And if you notice, the hands are frozen at just past 6 o'clock. So that would mean the watch was broken sometime just after 6?
that's right.
Well, last night, Taka's watch definitely wasn't broken. Hey, you! How long were you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air. He stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
In other words,
Oh, if it worked at 10 last night, it couldn't have been broken at 6 p.m. Meaning it must have happened at 6 this morning. Oh, broken wristwatch has added to the truth bullet section of your hand.
however,
And that's not all. Look at Taka's left hand. He appears to be gripping something. You're right, there's something white in there.
Makoto,
And you try and pry it out? Me?
because
Rigor mortis has already set in. Boys are better suited to this kind of manual labor, right? Okay. As much as I didn't want to, I grasped Taka's cold hand. The ice-cold hand was nearly enough to cause my heart to stop beating. After some effort, I was finally able to free the object from its tightly clenched fist. Piece of paper?
hey,
Was that all he had in his hand? Yeah, that's it. Just a little scrap of paper. Doesn't seem like much of a clue, does it?
is that right?
Wonder about that. Koyoko then turned to Hoofmeat's body.
So then,
Let's check Hoofmeat's body now. Perhaps left us a few clues of his own. Koyoka's scrap of paper has been added to the truth section of your handbook. Well, let's see what that new one is. Oh yeah, this is new. Right. Okay. Let's see here. But when we found his body in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. Hey, Sarah, what's up? This is such a fun game. Hopefully you'll stick around for that, for this. So, did you find
Indeed.
anything? You did, more than I expected, to be honest. Look at this. Wad of paper.
that's right.
You gotta keep on watching until I finish this chapter. I don't know how much longer it is, but it's gonna be good. Hoofme had it hidden on him. Hidden?
Indeed.
He stuffed it in his pants, so I can only assume he hid it on purpose, you see. In his pants. Wait, so you...
Why is that?
It was just... It was just his pants, not like his socks or something. I don't know what that means.
Hey,
Anyway, let's take a look at the paper. Go ahead, Makoto, open it up. When I think of how it was stuffed down his pants, it's like, it's better be important, me, or I'll never forgive you for this. Oh man, that's funny. Nope. I found a hole. Maybe we can use it to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
so...
That sounds very familiar. That's it. It's the same thing Hiro said. Then he was telling us the truth.
However...
Although it's not exactly the same, is it? Last night, someone slipped a weird note under my door. Here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma cannot find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. The time is different. Hiro told us that his note said to meet at 1 a.m. But this note he wrote to Hoofme asked him to meet at 6 a.m.
Is that right?
Hold on, just because Hoofme had the note doesn't mean it was meant for him. Huh?
So...
Part of it's been torn off, right? I think there's likely some meaning there. Some meaning to part of it being ripped? Could you maybe explain it a little more? That piece of paper? Think carefully.
Hey,
Why would he have been clutching that scrap of paper so tightly? I have no idea.
so then...
What if it wasn't just a scrap of paper when he was holding it? What if it was something more important? And how would something important like that become a mere scrap of paper? That's what you need to answer. The note Hoofme had. It's been added to the truth bullet section.
Hey.
Okay. While we're at it, I should tell you one other thing. The two victims this time definitely had their e-handbooks on them. So the handbooks have nothing to do with how the murderers were carried out. Not that there was any reason to think they were connected to the killing in the first place. So you're saying I don't have to think about the handbooks this time, right?
Is that right?
If you didn't have to think about them at all, wouldn't have gone out of my way to mention them. All I said was that they weren't used to help carry out the murder. There may come a point, however, where a handbook may play a role. Handbook may play a role? Then I don't think I understand. But if Kyoko thinks it's important, I better keep it in mind. E-handbook has been added to the truth bullet section of your... Bong. I'm always waiting to bing, bong, 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 bong.
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the class trial to begin! Like the bright burst of fireworks, like the flash of a soul clashing with life and death. And so, with no further ado, everyone please meet at the usual spot.
All right.
Make your way to the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon.
It would seem...
It's unfortunate, but I suppose this is where our investigation comes to an end. You'll have to figure out the rest for yourself and come to the proper conclusion. Yeah, you're right.
Shall we go?
Well, we better get going. Okay. Alright, before I do that, let me look at my truth bullets. We have everything here. Oh yeah, what is this? Found, let's see, can't find out, don't tell, let's meet in the rec room at 6. Yeah, each student has their own, the owner's name is, each time the handbook is booted up. No handbooks were involved in carrying the murders this time. Okay, let's save for right now. Yes. And we're gonna go through the red door. Everyone had heard Monokuma's proclamation and they were gathered by the red door. And as soon as we were all together...
Monokuma appears!
Hello, hello. Oh, there's 2 of them? He's multiplied.
Wrong!
Nope, not multiplication. It just looks that way. Because of an illusion. I'm moving so fast it only looks like I have multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma? Can we get on the elevator already?
Boy, tough crowd.
Good. Not playing along. Stop talking. We're not here to play with you. Okay, fine.
Hey!
Then if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet.
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, hero. We're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
I told you already. I didn't do it. We're serious. That reminds me, did you ever find the other costume or the note? Well, no, but how unfortunate. And it would seem we have our culprit.
Hey,
This isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for when we get to the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. Can't let whoever killed Hufumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive. For the 2 that lost their lives. The one who killed Hufumi and Taka. The one who killed 2 of our friends. The killer is someone right here. Well, let's talk to each other. I don't like Monokuma's carefree attitude. Okay? Were you listening? Wait till we get to the courtroom to begin your argument.
Damn.
Oops. Didn't mean to click on her.
just the worst.
Let's hurry up and go so we can make Hero pay for his It would appear the culprit has been confirmed. This trial will be over in no time. It wasn't me, you gotta believe me.
Hey,
The story begins when we get down there. And finally...
Yes.
Come on, Big Mac, let's do it. Alright, let's do it. I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. clunking of the elevator kept us company as further and further down. There was no going back. Till we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. Not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator door slid open, opening up into a cruel face. When I see all of you gathered together like this, I realize just how few of you there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Just the worst.
Only because of you. Why? Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
What?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute.
Come on.
Stop goofing around and begin the trial. Don't rush me, of course. I'm gonna start it. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break. Oh yeah, that would be funny.
Yoo-hoo!
I would never hold out on your like that. Okay, let's begin. Get your assigned seat. Okay, go. And so the curtain opened once again. Deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly class trial. Yes. Let's see, what can I do? Let's see, let's see. And I think that's all I have. So that's pretty cool. And let me look at my truth bullets again. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to remember all this. Class trial. All rise?
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it!
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Oh boy.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling.
Oh boy.
It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Is Hero really the killer? Or, before anything else, we have to make that clear. Alright, let's do this. Make your argument. Which Hero's message?
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Oh. I remember right.
Everything we found in your room.
I see what...
The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
Oops.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Okay.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are...
No, what's wrong? Are we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hero's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hero is innocent as well.
What? Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hero said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Uh-oh, this is gonna be hard. And of course he passes it off.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Suspicious individual in question. The one that must have been in the suit. Well, he did say the Illuminati. That's right. They are all working behind the scenes to try and set me up. Those dudes are super scary for serious.
Shoot!
Looks like I just embarrassed myself in front of everyone. Is that really true? Maybe I should think about this again. Alright, so it must be...
I got it! Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hero is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hero didn't do it!
It makes perfect sense. Hero was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption!
Oh,
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
all things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
Yeah. It was the respiratory dolly.
I got it!
Still one more thing that were used to. They must have been also the blue tarp.
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
Well,
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Wow, I never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change your mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. New element has been added to the bullet time battles. Sure. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're gonna add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. But from now on, just locking on, pressing the triangle won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you one bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload pressing the square. Just like locking on, you have to press the square button in time, the tempo marker. Basically, just remember that the square button now has a function along with the X and the square buttons. You will automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo will not decrease. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload at all. In which case you can ignore everything I just said. Well then, good luck and have fun. Oh boy.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch.
Wait, how do I do this? Oh. Okay.
I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it.
Ooh.
There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
Huh.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
I look at how the body was moved. It'll be clear when... Make your argument. Oh yeah, okay.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Ah. Come on, Makoto. Don't scare me like that. Makes me...
Shoot!
Think about it. One more time. Okay. Hold on. Ah. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Uh-oh, I have already... to the end. Well then, the class trial is officially adjourned. Uh-oh. It appeared that one of the most votes is Makoto. However, Makoto is not the black king. Too bad. Looks like the real killer gets congratulated. On the other hand, everyone else will now be punished.
Is this really the end for all of us?
Ah. Yeah.
I refuse to give up yet.
I can't give up now. Okay. Alright. It's not bad. I just have to think. Robo Justice.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
Oh, that's
Then
what...
you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said, then you must realize that whoever was in the suit couldn't possibly be the culprit.
Sorry, I don't think I realized anything.
Yeah, that was my fault.
As we know, Taka was killed in the
it.
equipment room.
And from there,
Yeah, the culprit wrapped then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off.
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, that's wrong.
There we go.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised it got anywhere in this. Telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Oh, wow.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
it seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
There's absolutely no chance the costume was taken off just to move the body because you can't take it off by yourself.
I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the thing. There's a clasp on the back that keeps you from getting it off. Looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. Don't really have a choice. Let's help me.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? The guy hit me. What guy? Robo Justice, that's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong? Saw a shadow, something moving around top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that...
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. He's blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway.
And then...
Oh! Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Who fooled me? He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time. Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. We hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them, no matter what. Let me think. Monokuma file number 3.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
But were they really used in that order?
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer, while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before, perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's...
I wonder if, or perhaps it was... We already know what order Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Shoot!
So, regarding Taka's death,
So it's not
I
that
wonder
one.
if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
Nope.
Shoot!
Darn. It's not that either.
So,
Let me think.
regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi,
No.
or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
Yeah, but
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So,
Regarding Taka, I wonder if, or perhaps it was, we already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's
I
death.
keep
See?
missing.
So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi.
Or perhaps it was, we already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death,
I wonder if, or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed in.
Nope,
Shoot!
that's not what it was.
so, regarding Taka's,
I wonder if, or perhaps it was, we already know what order they were killed. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer while Taka's death.
Let's see.
Death came from a swing of Justice.
See?
Oh,
So it's obvious Taka came after.
okay, maybe it's,
so, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammer.
No, that's wrong.
there we go.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Oh yeah, because he died at 6. Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. Something that relates to what time he must have died. Oh, what is this? Wait. This one was a tricky one.
I refuse to give up yet!
Okay, good. Alright. What?
I refuse to give up yet!
Maybe it's not just all the letters I see. W-R... Now we're looking for an H.
Now I understand! I got it! Taka's wristwatch! See? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
Hey, you! How long were you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared poignantly at us. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the boys and girls.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Oh. Huh? What was that? It came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. Just back. Come on, we have to go back.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true! We're all in the clear!
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up!
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time!
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway!
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's
a
true.
good question.
We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
He could not have been gone for a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? Would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Wow.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
Didn't think about that.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible? Risk.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
So how do I get to
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really?
Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Well, let's
Are
try
you
this.
saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Nope.
Shoot!
Hey,
Are
when I
you
do
saying
this,
that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
No.
Shoot!
Oh, okay, I know what it is.
Are you saying that when we first
Found Hifumi, there's a chance he... No. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Darn. That's not what I...
Are you saying that when we first...
there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead.
Without a doubt.
Oh,
And you
wait
know
a
that
minute.
surely you heard the body
okay,
that
I know
Hifumi's
what
dead,
it
and
is.
that is... Are we really... Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible.
Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Darn.
Shoot!
One more time.
I
Yeah,
refuse to give up yet!
Well, let me think here. Broken wristwatch.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Darn.
Shoot!
Okay, give me a
Are
minute.
you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was...
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, that's wrong.
Wow, I did not think that.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
Second body discovery announcement. First time that played it was when we found each body. The nurse's office and the equipment room. Second time was just...
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Ding dong, ding dong. Body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
Was dead.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
Ooh.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Between these glasses. Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Shoot!
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found him, and then His body disappeared.
And the next time it was in the...
But when you compare his body before being, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Oh, wait.
Then...
No, that's wrong.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can. I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles. From Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... what exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Well, it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see.
Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Okay, I'm back.
Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! Oh, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
Oh,
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his... pants?
Yes, his pants.
Yes, his pants. Okay.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole. Maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out. So don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it!
Ha!
That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is serious. He's scary, but still. Can't let her get to me. No, actually, it's the piece of paper. Oh my gosh.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Oh.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, it's wrong! No, There absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Oh yeah, that would be... Yeah...
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note...
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi!
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
Oh.
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we can find out the truth. Okay, let's see what I can do. Oh yeah, spotless hammer, huh?
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
Shoot!
That's not the one.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
Was it just maybe Justice?
Well, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
No,
No, that's wrong!
that is wrong.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
Did talk about it. Wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first. But
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible.
No, that's wrong! Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Surely, if only one person can be saved per murder.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true...
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems... odd.
The effort made to convince us the two murderers same. That was the main characteristics this time. Koyoko must have noticed the fact from the very beginning. That's why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, entirely in separate incidents. Koyoko really is amazing. When you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like it's almost unnatural how...
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
True killer manipulated Hifumi, carry out a number of actions, and in the end murdered him. The debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really one person who seems to fit. It's not someone.
Here's my answer.
How's that, though?
It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder...
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Oh,
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
what is it that only Hifumi and Celeste tell me?
I got it! The
Count?
behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Saw a shadow, something moving around the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. Ran off as soon as I screamed. Was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. It's bad. Come on, we have to go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Well, then Makoto and Hina and you with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Bayoko, Ya, and Taka.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
Certainly was not expecting this. Did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it! Everything, the whole thing was one big act!
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Really? She didn't really know.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Like the octopus, and that Celeste comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? Don't know.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
No.
Shoot! All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
No.
Shoot!
Hate this part.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said
Those
was,
guys.
they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
No.
Shoot!
This is really hard.
All I said was,
Okay.
they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here.
We're all gonna
We are
die.
going to die, just like those guys died.
No. Oh, man. This is hard.
Shoot!
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this.
This.
Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Nope.
All I
Those
said
guys.
was, they must really be enjoying this.
Oh.
Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this.
Us?
Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here.
Oh.
We are going to die,
Okay.
just
Oh.
like those guys died.
Oh, no.
Shoot!
Keep messing up.
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must
guys,
We are all going to die here.
We are going to die.
And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All
Okay,
I
I
said
see what you're
was,
saying.
they must really be
Enjoying the sight of us. They must be
positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys.
There you go.
No, it's wrong.
Thank you. That helped.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
That is strange.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
Oh.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Wow.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You
nice.
claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? how do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Oh?
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanation? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is,
I got it!
dragging...
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
Oh, okay.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility.
It's only within the realm of possibility.
The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
She can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Okay.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
That's not... She said that she couldn't bend at the blades.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
No.
Shoot!
There's
You
another...
dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight!
Oh, there
You
it is.
tried to make me look like the bad guy!
The cost...
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight.
There you go.
No, it's wrong!
Right, you can't do it.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, who's me? Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember her name. Yep. Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
What
it
the
is.
hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
I watched the anime before.
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
You know what? I don't remember what he said. I'm gonna say he said
Shoot!
Think back to how Hifumi used to... How did he refer to each of us?
Oh, really? Let's see, he said...
I got it! That's
Last
right!
name?
Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Oh, okay.
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Uh-oh.
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
Right.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up!
Oh,
My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up, so then we have to do something to make her accept it. Alright, so we're gonna try this again. Oh, maybe it's...
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
no. That's...
shoot!
That's not what it was. Oh boy. I failed again. Gonna fast forward just a little bit.
I refuse to give up yet!
Hey. Oh.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
if there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
Yeah,
How many times do I have
so.
to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
There we go.
No, it's wrong!
Oh boy.
That's it! The handbook!
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
Oh yeah. This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because... Until the game's over, you never know what might happen!
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Alright. Okay, so let's see, in this case, how did the killer recruit their accomplice? Was it seduction? Okay, so... what is... I'm not... let's see here. Alright, probably I'll... Look, they knocked him out. And the justice? It would have been... No. Would have been this one, probably. Or was it? No, what? Who was it? Someone first was this. And then... Oh, I see. What time was it? It was 6 o'clock. Yeah, I think so. I do believe I will. Just this hammer that was used to kill Taka. What number was it? Oh boy, was it? It was just this hammer 2. In the library, Hifumi used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. So you must use something. Must have been a camera. Which Justice Hammer was in the nurse's office when Hifumi was tending. Wait a minute. Back to the beginning and use... Oh, okay. Hifumi, huh? Was... Right. There we go. What time did the killer call their victim to be at the rec room? It's at 1. Okay. He knocked him out, then stuffed him in the robo-chest. Oh. Where did my... Do I have that camera still? Where did I put that camera? Look around. That was used. Let's see. It was number... I don't remember actually. In the library, Hifumi used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. Shadowy criminal? Oh. Which justice? I think it was number... I want to say number 3. Because it gets bigger. There's something to move Taka's body. Oh, it's probably... Okay, that's Tarp, okay. The weapon the killer used to murder, what was it? That was the mallet. Okay, so do we have any other empty one? That was number 4.
Here's exactly
Oh,
what
I
happened.
hope I get it right.
Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
Okay.
That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker.
All right.
And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan.
I might.
They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But...
No, I didn't. Oh. Okay, hold on. What is this? Fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. Oh. Because Hammer 2 wasn't... Oh, okay.
Here's exactly what happened.
I see.
So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story.
Okay,
with these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But... while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3.
Thank you, yes.
and turn the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared.
Okay.
But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Relax.
Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
Wow.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words?
Oh
They
yeah,
hang
right?
heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taeko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taeko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
All right. I know. I guess there's a Game Plus on this, which I'm really excited to hear about. We're trying to save everyone or something. I don't know. Something called School's Out? I don't know what it is. Oh, final result, 96. Oh, good.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
To get the Monokuma coins, that would be true. All right. It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Takeo Yashiyaru.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I heard school mode was trying to save the students with alternate endings. I'm not sure about that.
I knew it.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Hey. How did you get him to agree? I can't imagine on her specialty lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
Then.
And did you use, you know... I knew you were figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right to get Hifumi to act as my accomplice. I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name. But it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean... She talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation. Totally out of the loop as usual. How sad.
In other words.
And you're the one who stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you come up with. Right again. Just... Oh, okay. Last night after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing
Actually...
here? I was hoping I could talk to you alone. It was about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
Huh?
Are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it. What?
So then...
And I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. Deleted the pictures as soon as I shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him, but how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal.
Say what?
What?
As for me...
He threatened me.
Oh,
Yeah.
As for me...
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say he abused me.
What?
Oh. He took pictures. He said if I not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So, had no...
damnation!
That's a crime, an absolute crime. I knew he'd gone a little crazy, but I never imagined he would go that far. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I never said before in my life.
Completely unforgivable!
I'm going to kill him. I'm going to...
Most
Yeah,
unfortunate.
Wait, please, if you go now, you will be playing right into his hand.
Actually...
Taka is planning to use her to escape. He has made you his target. Escape, you don't mean it. Taka is going to try to...
Indeed.
And all so he can keep her to himself.
This is unforgivable! Completely unforgivable!
Honestly.
Can we allow him continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I?
I swear I will save her!
Actually...
Then would you like to join with me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan. I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful... Yeah. With that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Me agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad. It would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hufumi's creation?
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general bodies. I had no idea he'd make something like that. But it's my fault for picking him in the first place. Oh, why did you decide to make me the suspect? That's it?
Let's see.
And in the regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity passed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I'm crying.
Well,
When you were explaining your plan to Hufumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hufumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. So he did his part and pretended to be dead. When someone showed up, told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that. Well, of course, that wasn't all there was to it. As I explained it to him, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened, he's going to murder someone else. At that point, Hufumi would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. Told him that, and he believed him. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hufumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
so in the end,
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point to my plan if one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself. How can human life mean so little?
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to...
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like
I wonder about that.
Now, no, he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we're nothing alike.
Why?
And what made you take things this
What the
far?
heck?
Is it really just for money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. That's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life began here, my only thought has been this.
But
All along, you've been saying how we have
You
something.
little bitch!
Obviously, that was
Hey!
couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else.
You little bitch!
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you want to know why?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting the life here meant nothing less than giving up on my
Honestly.
There was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphor.
As for me,
And it was all dream. And it's this dream of
isn't
yours
it wonderful?
to live in a European castle. Castle? And to gather handsome men from all over the world, serve as my butlers/bodyguards. It's going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtain that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic
This is fine.
living the rest of my life, there was my only dream, my only goal. That what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, don't have any regrets. I persuaded my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
I'm so passionate. Are you really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel
Do you understand?
that's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for
what is
understanding.
this?
That you should be saying, and how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled. I take pride in it. It's just not other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The consciousness deceives the unconsciousness. That's why you're not scared.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. You know, if I could be reincarnated, my attitude.
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey!
You would just get executed again. Celeste smiled. And she did. It looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings. But that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
You're all done? Okay, then let's get rolling. The black and disturb the peace and must be...
Now then, I've prepared a very
Now then.
special punishment.
For her, the ultimate
Let's
festival.
give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this.
What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again, in another life.
Aww. Oh, okay, because she wants to live in Europe, like, might be a witch trial or something. Burning of the verses. Witch. Wow. It's over. third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him to just come along. Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world. So more people had to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez, and here, I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let
Too
me
bad.
out of here. You're all the embodiment. Hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is. But that reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you going to make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
Strange.
I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest. So anyway, Koyoko, did I see you get some kind of key type object from Celeste?
Hey!
So, what's the deal with that?
What?
Huh? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine. What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
What?
hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh, how exciting.
Oh man, oh jeez, oh man, oh jeez. What do you mean, what did I do? I have no idea. Don't know anything about it. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Koyoko's body. What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are kind of getting awkward. I think it's about time I got out.
Well?
Meanwhile, you guys can go and enjoy your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it.
See ya later!
Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed. Although it wasn't all despair, there was one small hope. Hey Koyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's that key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers.
Huh?
What? Then that means Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss. It's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go
Indeed.
check. As we approach the dressing room alone from here, everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check in with
What?
you later. Why exactly are you going on?
So...
Do you have to ask? She spoke. She glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why, there's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
Ew. Please let me go. Standing here arguing, it's just going to draw more attention
Goodbye.
to us. And do whatever you want. Thank you. Bye, Yoko.
well then.
And it's up to you now.
Yo!
Don't go to the dining hall, okay? Huh? So Makoto and Kokyoko gonna go together? Does that mean what I think?
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little back. Try to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall.
shall we go?
Shall we? Yeah.
So then,
We need to get into that locker. Koyoko took the key Celeste had given her and locked the locker and she saw. Come on. It's been a while, hasn't it? Safe, thank goodness. Never heard Koyoko sound so relieved. like she was speaking from the bottom of her. I just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet for the entire time. Oh, and I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a while longer. So now we can officially say the place is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure. Can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Koyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own? Is that why you wanted to come?
However,
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know. That just makes me even more confused.
what?
Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time. Disappeared and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that,
Indeed.
it's only natural that they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? No. I believe in you. You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to come. And I want you to believe in me because we're friends. And
It's true.
maybe I can believe in you just a little bit more. And
That's fine.
fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappointed. You see, what I heard from Koyoko then was, well, frankly, it's kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Koyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. Decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own 2 eyes, so I waited for the nighttime to come. When it did, I went into action.
Correct.
Boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor. And in the storage closet there, way in the back. Alright. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for everything. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm stopping for now, but you have a good night. All right. Bye-bye.